Like, this is crazy. Like, these people lived 2,000 years ago and they made this stuff. Like, do you know how nuts this is? Like, how did they do this? Like, what were they doing? Like, what was this society like? Like, this is, to be able to just see the work of people that they've left behind and to just imagine the amount of time that's taken place and then just put yourself back into that timeline. Like, we just assume that this way that we are, this is how people are, because this is how people are today.
Yep.
It's so hard to put your mind into like what it's like and what it must have been like to live back then.
If you go to places, earlier this year I went to Easter Island and Peru, and both of them are described as the navels of the world. You know, so they have these origin myths in both of these places. And when you're in these places, you have different dreams, you sleep really well, you feel just good. You feel like you're on peptides. You know, you just feel, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so healthy. I feel healed. And so the land itself where they built a lot of these ancient places is powerful. You know, I don't think it's a coincidence that we see the Moai and Easter Island built around this absolutely incredible place, or Cusco, which is such a beautiful place that you see these stone walls. I think that they built there because of the energy that was there already.
What do you think was before that? And like, what is this timeline? How far does it go back? Like, what is the origin of sophisticated civilization? Like, what is the year? When does it all start happening?
I wonder sometimes if the purpose of building structures like that is so people like you ask those questions. That's
Right.
the whole point.
Well, maybe.
Is to blow our minds and get us to think about consciousness and the history of our species. The fact that we're sitting there having this conversation is because of the stones that were built who knows how long ago.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the point.
Certainly could have been a part of the point, because what we're doing today when we talk about our society being sick and superficial and silly, all of our structures are temporary.
And they're ugly.
Well, some of them are cool looking. I think some are cool.
Some of them, yeah.
They're cool. They're certainly not Angkor Wat cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're cool. But the point is, like, they're all essentially temporary. 1,000 years from now, none of them will exist. They will all be absorbed by the earth. And that's hard for people to understand. If you're walking through Manhattan, you're like, this will always be here. Nope. It won't. If everybody just left and you came back 5,000 years from now, there wouldn't be shit here.
Yeah.
So then it leads me to this question. The timeline that we're looking at, if you're looking at pre-flood timeline, 11, 12,000 years ago, things were sophisticated. Maybe it's way longer than that. Because if you have 100,000 years of super sophisticated civilization, what does that look like?
Yep.
What do people look like then? And this is one of the things that people are proposing when they look at anatomically modern human beings. So anatomically modern human beings, and then not these Peru skulls, but whatever just you and I are, they've pushed that back now to 1 million years.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, why did it take so long before people just like you and I figured out agriculture, figured out civilization, figured out cities?
What were we doing that whole
seafaring?
time?
What was going on? And is it possible that it's just when you go back that far, you don't find anything?
Yep.
You don't find anything. That seems more likely to me. And when you look at the immense erosion that Ben Van Kerkwijk has pointed out to the older stones in Egypt, where you can clearly see they've built on top of them on the outside.
Yep.
When you see this intense erosion, like, this is tens of thousands of years of erosion. Well, what if it's 100,000?
Yeah.
What the fuck is left? What if it's 200,000?
What's left from 100,000 years ago? Maybe some stones, myths, and spiritual traditions. Or 10,000 years ago. That's the only thing that makes it through Cataclysms. The human stories, spiritual traditions, and these megalithic stones.
And a real cataclysm, if you're talking about the destruction of civilization itself, how many of those people even know the stories? How many live? How many scholars survive the apocalypse? How many? I mean, we know that 70,000 years ago, the Toba volcano, the supervolcano, wiped people out down to the point with less than 100,000 people on Earth. It's just 70,000 years ago.
Right.
100,000 people.
We have been on the brink so many times.
Can you imagine like one Eagles football game, right? Take that crowd. That's the entire population of Earth now,
Yeah.
right? One packed UT game. That's everybody on Earth.
Just
and now we have to branch
a
out
knife's edge.
and go to China and go to Africa and go everywhere. That's all the people on Earth.
That just shows how amazing and resilient we are.
Yeah, and also fragile.
Yes.
You know, and also it really shines a light on the preposterous nature of the conventional timeline. It really does. Because it's like, look, guys, there's so much evidence that there's holes in the story.
Yeah.
At what point in time do you stop and say, look, a lot of these people did great work and they made these conclusions based on the understanding that they had at the time, but as time has gone on, there's come a point where we have to reevaluate this. And if you don't reevaluate it, you're going to lose all the respect of the people that are paying attention.
Totally.
Because there's too many people that are looking at this and saying, hey, no one's discounting or discrediting your work. No one's saying you're a bad person. You know, no one's saying you're an idiot. It's like, this is what we knew back then. But to say that this is all we know and any new information, as profound as it might be, like 1.2 kilometer structures underneath the Great Pyramids, like that doesn't mean that you're an idiot. It just means that this is an ongoing thing. It's not done.
Yep.
We haven't figured it out yet. And we're not going to for a long-ass time. This is a long trek. And as LiDAR improves and as the radio tomography and all these different things that they come up with, and then imagine the advances 10, 20, 30 years from now in their ability to look at sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
Like very little expedition's been done there. And they're like, what?
Let's LiDAR sub-Saharan Africa.
There's whales there.
I've seen the whales.
Whales.
Yeah.
Okay, so
They're incredible.
what the fuck? You find whales in the desert. Okay, what else is out there?
Yeah.
Is there a city under all that shit? Like, what is that? Like, what is in there?
You know what's funny, though? You can reveal cities under the jungle and nobody talks about it.
Right.
You know, they
What's recent?
just did that in Cambodia, and it's not headline news around the world that there are entire cities being found in the Amazon jungle or in Cambodia. It just is one quick headline, and then everybody ignores it.
Well, it's good for us because it gives us great podcast content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Totally.
like it's the only way people can find out about it. And again, it's science. The LiDAR scans of the Amazon are spectacular.
Incredible.
And you look at it and you go, oh my God, there was probably millions of people living here. This is not like a bunch of tribal people that are shooting bows and arrows all the time.
They
No.
were engineering the rainforest.
Oh, yeah. And it just, the fact that more people aren't talking about this is a little stunning to me. But I just think they don't get informed. And then they also assume, you know, you see some YouTube headline that's got big fancy font and, you know, people are older than we think. Like, oh, go on. I went to Cambridge. Fuck off.
And you have a lot of AI stuff out there that's just complete bogus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's hard to know what the truth is.
Sure. And then there's a lot of weird stuff, like the Sage Wall in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some videos on that. I'm not convinced. I think that might be a weird geological formation,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look like it. Parts of it really look like it's stacked stones.
I think that, you know, during the Ice Age in North America, it was an extremely harsh time with walls of ice, right? So if the Younger Dryas happened the way that I believe it happened, North America would have been just almost wiped clean. You know,
Yeah.
if there were ancient structures here, they probably didn't survive the way that they did in Egypt and other places like that.